Greetings of peace, and thanks for tuning in. I've got an amazing video for y'all today. We're going to be discussing how Schumann resonance is actually in the Quran. We're going to be discussing on how all life comes from water. Allah says this in the Quran that all life, not just some, all life comes from water. So we're gonna show how that's true as well, and we're gonna tie this all in with how who has the right capacity to rule. So we know in the future Imam Mahdi and Mashiach will come, and the second coming of Jesus, the Messiah, the Mashiachs, known in the Jewish tradition as Mashiach ben Yosef, which is Imam Mahdi Mashiach, and Mashiach ben David, which is the second coming of Jesus. So we're going to explain how this all ties in together. So let's get into it. So we need to understand what is a hertz. A hertz is a pulse per second. Okay, so if I drum a beat on a drum going one drum beat per second, that'd be 1 hertz. If I was going 2 drum beats per second, that'd be 2 hertz. For example, my hands are going to clap at 1 hertz. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So that'd be like 1 hertz. So if I'm going to go 2 hertz, that'd be 2 claps per second. So it sounds something like this: 1, 2, 3, something sort of like that. So and 3 hertz would be 3 pulses or 3 claps or 3 drum beats, etc. So that's what a hertz is. So let's understand with 7 points. So the Schumann resonance average is 7.83 hertz. Now that number can fluctuate. I've seen it high. It can go higher or lower, but basically there's many frequencies within the Earth, but the average, the most strongest frequency is the 7.83 hertz. So obviously, frequency can go as small as you want, or go into infinity as big. Okay, so let's see what the Schumann resonance is. So the Schumann resonance only exists in the cavity between the ionosphere, which is about 80 to 600 kilometers above the surface of the Earth, and the surface of the Earth. So in between the cavity of the surface of the Earth and the ionosphere is where the Schumann resonance is pulsing. So the average and most strongest pulse is 7.83 hertz. So roughly an electrical pulse is going 8 times per second in here. So it's pulsating 8 times per second. So it looks something like this, pulsing. So the smaller the waves, or the smaller the pulses, or the hertz, the lower it goes in the ionosphere. So it doesn't go as high. So something that is pulsing at a very high frequency is going to actually leave the ionosphere, and stuff that's pulsing strongly or very high will pulse like this. It will go even higher in the ionosphere, as it's saying here. And the Schumann resonance does not occur in the ground as well, since there's not a cavity for it to exist in there. Okay, so another interesting thing is they found our brain waves. So our human bodies give off an electromagnetic field. We give off a frequency as well. We give off this frequency of the Schumann resonance, and studies have shown using EEG machines, I believe it is, they can measure the frequency of our brain waves, and the average brain waves is around 7.83 hertz as well. So there's a correlation between our brain waves, our electromagnetic fields, with the electromagnetic fields of the Earth and these frequencies. So I hope that gives you a good understanding of the Schumann resonance. Okay, so we're gonna go into Allah says we've made from water every living thing. So from water all life originates from. Okay, so what we've been taught, that life all comes from DNA, and that we evolve through millions of years through survival of the fittest, and we evolve through what works best and what doesn't, fades away, kind of thing. So we're gonna see here this guy Luc Montagnier is a scientist, and he did like hundreds of these experiments where um, he says here Montagnier's result was the creation of another DNA out of pure water. So he's creating DNA out of pure water. As Allah says in the Quran, we've made from water every living thing. So this scientist and many others who've duplicated this experiment hundreds of times. So this is a generator of 7 hertz. So this is putting electrical pulse of 7 hertz, which is close to the 7.83 hertz of the Earth, and he's pulsating this frequency of electromagnetic fields and electricity into these tubes of water. So he put these tubes of water, or one tube or many tubes, and then after about roughly, I believe about 18 hours it was, he started noticing the formation of DNA, the beginning building blocks of DNA being formed in the water, and I believe after a few days, actually building strands of DNA in the water. So this is quite literally amazing that life is coming out of water through frequency. So it's very quite amazing. This totally destroys the theory of evolution, the theory of Darwinism, that life can actually come out of nowhere, out of the water. So new creatures could be created all around us in the earth, brand new creatures, just by the pulsating of the earth. So they did lots of experiments with the Schumann resonance. Okay, they did lots of experiments. They put people deep under the ground in bunkers, and they took random people. So, like I said, there's no Schumann resonance deep under the ground. So when they put these random people deep under the ground, they noticed that very quickly they became very irritable. They became very fatigued. A lot of brain fog, a lot of ailments, a lot of sickness were occurring. So then they reintroduced where is it here? An electromagnetic pulse generator into the bunker, sort of what this experiment is doing. And they noticed within 30 minutes, people felt great again. People felt the brain fog lift, their ailments and aches and pains going away. They did this hundreds of times, and every time proving that without the Schumann resonance, people became very ill and sick. And when they introduced it again, people felt great again within a short period of time. They did other studies where they put random people, and they know people different faiths and stuff like that, and they noticed that people who actually had a strong faith, who had belief, who were very positive, were actually generating their own Schumann resonance within the bunkers, and that was uplifting everyone else in the bunkers and creating a more harmonious environment. And this is how I'm going to link in how Imam Mahdi, the Mashiach, as well as Messiah Jesus, the Mashiach as well, will, with the right capacity, with the right frequency, right capacity of frequency, will be able to rule the earth and uplift humanity and uplift the earth into a state of bliss, into a state of heaven on earth, a paradise, you could say, on the earth. And this is how it's done. So I have demonstrated many times in my videos how when I implement, when I embody these divine laws and commandments of the Most High, like which I do in with Quran verses and stuff like that, higher truths. When I embody these higher truths and wisdoms, that it lifts up the Schumann resonance. I feel a higher frequency within myself, a higher frequency within Earth, and then I see the results happening here on the Schumann resonance chart. So this is a chart. It's from Russia. They have, I believe, hundreds of different recording stations around the world, and this is all fed into a program which averages out all the frequencies and gives you a graph here, which is it was basically showing you the amplitudes of the different frequencies of the Earth. So this is showing a high peak or a loudness or a power of the Schumann resonance, so a power of life coming into the Earth. So when we raise our vibrations, when we're doing what Allah makes lawful and staying away from the unlawful things that God forbids, we are actually raising our frequency, and when we embody this more and more, we are actually raising the whole earth, the whole vibratory of the earth. So it's very important for us to stay very positive, not to fear anything but God himself. There's lots of fear mongering that's going on around, but let me assure you that that being positive, embodying higher truths and wisdoms, embodying divine laws and commandments, and very importantly, staying away from the sinful things, because that will bring down our frequency very quickly. So we make sure we're doing the right actions, being very humble, being very courteous to others, treat others as you would like to be treated, as Jesus says in his famous quote. So this is very amazing. We're going to show here, this is just this is showing different frequencies, so different pulses, and showing how different pulses create different effects, different unique effects within creation. So very, very interesting. Just shows the effects of frequency on creation. Um, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Um, as we should always trust in Allah, that whatever Allah says in the Quran, we know it's the word from God, and we should take it as face value, and that we're only catching up to what's in the Quran. So that's why my source of truth and wisdom is come from the scriptures of God, the authentic ones, like the Gospels of Jesus, the Torah, that was given to Moses, as well as the Quran that was channeled through Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon them. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to know a little bit more about the Schumann Resonance, I've got a lot of videos prior about the Schumann Resonance, how we affect the Schumann Resonance, how we uplift each other by elevating our frequency, our vibration, and by embodying the higher truths and wisdoms that helps elevate our, by doing prayers, giving charity, by doing good to others. All these are methods to, and doing it for the cause of God, the one unique creator of all that exists. And this is how Imam Mahdi, the Mashiach, as well as the second coming of Jesus, the Mashiach, the Messiah, will elevate humanity, will bring humanity up, will uplift humanity through their vibration, and this vibration will go out forever in the or eternity into creation, um, and uplift not only the earth, but all of the universe and creation itself, and all the multiverses and all the complexities in that. Um, so it's really quite amazing information to know that the Schumann resonance is indirectly in the Quran, and how all life comes from water. So completely amazing. Um, I really hope you enjoyed the video. Take Allah as your shield, protect your alone, as that is a way that leads to paradise. And I wish you all the best. May Allah's blessings and peace be upon you. And may Allah protect us. And may we prepare for the times to come, prepare for the Imam Mahdi, the Mashiach, as well as the second coming of Jesus, the Messiah, the Mashiach as well. And may the peace and blessings of Allah be with you. Take care. Peace.